Adobe just unleashed its AI
Hello.
Frankenstein on the unsuspecting masses. It's like they launched a UFO and we're all sitting here with our mouths open, getting flies for free. This AI, the Adobe Firefly, it was supposed to be in the oven, baking away in beta, but they served it for dinner anyway. And shockingly, it's not half bad. It's like a well-seasoned gourmet dish that unexpectedly turned out great. So, let me give you a grand tour of this spaceship, show you where the buttons are, and why everyone's dropping their jaws over it. Welcome to Adobe's latest sorcery, the Photoshop and Adobe Firefly's love child, the generative fill. It's like a magician who can pull anything from his hat with a simple text prompt. But unlike most magicians, it isn't just pulling out rabbits, it's combining multiple rabbits into a super rabbit. And it's not just an average Joe magician, it's David Blaine. It's not some lousy AI putting up a show on a street corner. It's Picasso painting a masterpiece. It can change your photo's backdrop and add reflections as if it's a breeze. Take a look at this icy landscape. It's just conjured reflections on a frozen lake like Elsa from Frozen. Oh, and you know the northern lights? Just watch as it casually throws it into your photo to make it a splendid scenery. This tool is a game changer, especially for us Photoshop warriors who are always in the battlefield of image manipulation. It's like having a time machine. It's saving us tons of time. Let's dive in to see how you can harness the power of this time turner. To get started, when you open up Photoshop, it's like being greeted by an alien who asks you to download the Photoshop beta. Once you get past the first shock, you go on this adventure with it. If the alien isn't there to greet you, fear not. Just navigate to your creative cloud and check the bottom left-hand corner for an invitation to the Beta Apps Club. There, you'll spot a weird-looking Photoshop icon. Just hitch a ride with it. After you've signed the intergalactic treaty by downloading the beta, you'll see this welcoming sign saying, "Try now." Once you're aboard the Photoshop spaceship, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to master the object selection tool. So, let's head over to my desktop command center to show you how this wizardry really works. But first, let's clear some interstellar misunderstandings. This isn't some old Photoshop relic. It's not like the content-aware tool that belongs in a museum. If you pick up this rectangular marquee tool, you'll find two artifacts, the content-aware fill and the generative fill. It's like choosing between a rubber ducky and a golden goose. The generative fill is the golden goose here, hands down. To drive the point home, let me show you a quick demo of both tools. Using the content-aware fill is like trying to paint a masterpiece with crayons. It fills up the space, but let's face it, it's not exactly a Rembrandt. Now let's swap the crayons for a paintbrush and use the generative fill. You see, this is why everyone's losing their minds online. Let's crank it up a notch and generate something without any text prompt. The reason why I've overlapped it here is because it needs some sort of data from the surroundings. It's like the Borg from Star Trek, assimilating data. Remember, this only works if you are connected to the mothership, that is, the internet. If not, you are up a creek without a paddle. Now let's try this once more. Look at that. This generative AI tool is nothing short of a prodigy. It just expanded an image from Midjourney. Midjourney's images are the perfect size for Instagram, but sometimes you might forget to prompt for the perfect dimensions. And that's when Adobe's Photoshop comes in, like the Kool-Aid man through the wall, to save the day. Just look at this. The content-aware tool is like a blindfolded kid trying to pin the tail on the donkey, while the AI is like a seasoned darts player hitting the bullseye. The AI understands the nature of the image and gives you a perfect expansion of the image. Now let's shake things up a bit and add a bear into the mix. Just like that, we have a bear in the picture. Admittedly, Adobe's not the best when it comes to people and animals like a robotic zookeeper, but it excels at generating stationary objects like an anchor or a bench or a chair. So, anything that doesn't move or breathe, Adobe's your guy. Although these images might not be as good as Midjourney's originals, what Adobe really nails is AI art privacy rules. So the images that train Adobe's software will improve over time, like a fine wine. But right now, if you're just trying to create something cool, this tool's got your back. If you don't fancy your creation, you can just hit Regenerate and flick through the generated images like you're swiping on Tinder. So it might not be perfect at bears, but if you're just using this for artistic purposes, it's still pretty darn good. Now let me show you the final magic trick, expanding this entire image. So here we are at the end of our magic show with the final trick, an expanded image. As you can see, it blends perfectly with the original Midjourney image. To the untrained eye, you wouldn't be able to tell where the real ends and the magic begins. And voila, that's the magic of Adobe's AI tool. And that's all for today, folks. The rabbit is out of the hat, and Adobe's AI tool is out in the open. So go ahead, take it for a spin, and create your own magic. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.